I do want to give a trigger warning that this is kind of about gentrification and foreigners in Mexico. And so if you're on, I don't know, a particular side, on any side, your feathers might be ruffled a little bit if you listen to this. I had this experience today where I hired a gardener, 21-year-old kid who did a phenomenal job. He did 7 hours worth of work, and it was my bad that I didn't get an actual quote on how much he wanted to charge me yesterday when he came to look at the job. So it wasn't until after he finished that he said he wanted to be paid 1,000 pesos for the day. 1,000 pesos is roughly $57. Now, there was a man, an older gentleman, who came the first week that I lived here, about 3 weeks ago, month ago, something like that. He charged 300 pesos, which is about $26, $27 for an entire day's worth. That was kind of like a maintenance cut. It wasn't anywhere near what the kid did today. Luis is his name. He did this amazing job that I really appreciate. And honestly, I don't know if I could have done. I did some tree trimming before he came. I did what I could and hired him to do the rest. Makes sense. Now, when he charged me 1,000 pesos, I did wince a little bit, knowing that the other man charged 300 pesos. Figured I was kind of okay with it because Luis did such a great job and he did so much. So then I go to my Spanish class, which I have 5 days a week, with a phenomenal woman who not only teaches me Spanish, but teaches me cultural lessons. She's also looking for a gardener. So I said, I have a gardener. He worked at my place today and he did this amazing job. Oh my God, I'm so impressed by him. He's such a sweet kid too. And she said, how much did he charge? Or how much did you pay him? And I said, well, knowing that it was a bit more than normal, I said it was 1,000 pesos, but he really did a great job and he did a lot of work. And she said, yeah, he probably wouldn't want to work with me because there's no way I can afford that. She said, you paid too much. And I said, well, I mean, I have the money. And to me, that's, if I translate that, that's like basically $57, which is like insane. You can't find that anywhere in the United States. And she said, well, to be honest, because she's straightforward and honest with me, which I so appreciate, she said, really what you did was add a bit to gentrification. And I said, please tell me more. And she said, well, the thing is that what happens is that there is a foreigner's tax that is sort of spoken and unspoken. If you're a foreigner, then you probably have more money than Mexicans. And so it's acceptable to a certain degree to overcharge foreigners. However, when you pay too much for something, it basically enables people. And what it does is fuck up the local economy because people only want to work with foreigners now. And so it makes life harder for local people to get things done because nobody will accept our pay, which makes perfect sense to me and is super shitty. And I said, well, to be fair, I didn't just give him 1,000 pesos. That's what he charged me. And I didn't feel like I had room to negotiate with him. And I said, but I understand that was more than normal because the other guy only charged me 300. I said, but it's really confusing being a foreigner because there is a foreigner's tax, but then you're telling me that also so we do overpay because we get overcharged, but then we're not supposed to overpay. And it fucks up the economy for locals. So honestly, tell me, what is the solution to this problem? She kind of had a very granular, individualized solution, which was basically to just call her and ask her, is this price okay? Which is not a bigger overall answer, obviously. It is much more challenging than I expected in terms of the finances here in Mexico because I have realized, obviously, that my mind in terms of finances is still very much in the United States. And the problem is that I don't know what the local economy is like. I don't know what prices are for things. I don't know what I should be paying. You're not given a handbook when you get off the airplane. It's just extremely helpful to have local people who are willing to help out. They're not obviously required to do that, but I sure am grateful for knowing her and knowing other people. But it's a learning process and I love learning about it. I want to be a part of the community wherever I am, but I understand that that's not up to me. I have to be accepted basically. And there are definitely people here who have seemed to accept me, and there are definitely people here who aren't the least bit interested, and that's okay. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I was a little kid knocking on people's doors getting hatred as a 7-year-old, so I'm kind of used to being hated on. It doesn't really faze me. I kind of understand it. I get it. We all feel protective of things that we love and feel close to and that feel special to us. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody. I'm just trying to learn. And if you don't want to teach me, that is okay. But I don't believe in the answer being, well, just leave. This place isn't meant for you. Because this is planet Earth. It belongs to all of us. We all have a shared responsibility. We're all part of the human race at the end of the day. We all want the same things when things get boiled down. Really, we are global citizens, and borders, again, I will say this until I die. It will probably be on my tombstone if I have one. Borders are imaginary things made up by governments to control people. It's bullshit. We all should be allowed to go wherever we want. The key is to just respect people. People in general. Just respect each other. And that sounds so idealized, but really it's the truth. It seems so simple and yet so complicated at the same time, which is, the human condition, right? So I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox and just wanted to relay that I love learning about cultures, even when it's difficult, even when I'm told that I'm doing it wrong. I will course correct because I would like to learn how to do it right, because I understand that I am somewhere else that people feel closer to and have been for longer, and I do need to respect that and do.